Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Bennett. Welcome to the channel. I've been a CDL holder and over-the-road truck driver since 1998. I was a company driver up until 2001, and then I did a lease purchase at that time with John Christian Trucking. I became a lease operator and then moved on into being an owner-operator right up until the end of 2017. When I came off the road, we moved back into California. I'm making this video to get back into YouTube and because I got back into trucking. So with knowing what a little bit about me, I have about 4 million miles roughly underneath my belt. And I decided and chose Swift Transportation. Now, I'm a 20-year vet of driving truck. Why would I choose Swift Transportation over all the other companies, smaller companies? And to answer that, I didn't really believe everything I've been hearing over the years. They've changed a little bit. Knight's bought them. They've bought US Express, I think. There's a few things that have happened. But I've called a few companies. I called Swift. I called CR England. I called KLLM. I talked to Stevens. I talked to a few companies. And I got some friends who drive for WFX. John David, if you're listening. He's over there. And some other companies. And what I found out is when I talked to the recruiter at Swift Transportation, they were honest with me. I told them what I wanted. And I'm looking up the gentleman's name right now just so I can give it to you guys. You guys bear with me 1 second. My recruiter's name was Philip Thompson. And when I talked to him, I was honest. I told him what I was looking for. I was looking for, at this time, for something to go not completely over the road, but to 11 Western or dedicated. He asked me about my experience and told me, based on what I explained to him, what my pay would be. Now, when I finally started, my pay was less than what he said because they were having trouble verifying my experience. As soon as they were able to verify the last of it, they retro paid me. So I'm getting the pay I was told I would get, barring that little snag. But I talked to him about benefits, home time, how many terminals, mileage, and he didn't try and sell me on something that I didn't want to do. He didn't try to push over the road just so I can get more miles. He informed me that the over-the-road drivers over here average a little more miles than the dedicated. Dedicated averages a little less than the regional, which is what I'm on. And he also was honest enough to tell me that it really depended on what account you were on if you went dedicated. I guess they have a Dollar Tree account. Walmart, there's a multitude of opportunities here at Swift. So that was the reason I chose Swift. So then I went through the hiring process. Filled out all the paperwork they sent me. Orientation was only 1 day. It was from 7 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. And we showed up. Well, I went and did my drug test and my physical before going to orientation, which was a godsend, which allowed it to be a 1-day orientation. They also sent me a link to where there's about 30 or 40 videos, I believe, you have to watch and go through, and you got to complete. And you can either do that before orientation or you got to do it at orientation. So I did all that beforehand. So I did a bunch of the stuff before I went. Went up the night before. They put me in the Holiday Inn. A room to myself. It was a nice little hotel. We went and showed up the first morning, went to orientation, and we started out. We had to do a couple things on the computer. Then we went and did our road test. Came back in, and then they went over the company policies and procedures and safety and who to contact and basically all the required information that you're required to be given when you go to orientation to work for a trucking company. After that, since I was an experienced driver and we were still waiting on one last company to verify me, so I went home, and it took about another 3 or 4 days after orientation was over for them to call me and let me know that I was officially hired at Swift, because you're not officially hired until you get your driver code. They'll bring you into orientation, get that all knocked out. If you're a trainee or someone who's going to go out with a mentor, you'll stay there usually in a hotel, and I'll have someone pick you up there. At least that was the experience for the trainees that were there when I went to orientation. And then they reached out, they gave me my driver code, sent me an email, called me, and they give me a list of 4 trucks to choose from. 2 2022's Internationals, a 2023 International, and a 2023 Freightliner, Cascadia. So I drove up to Lathrop, since that's the terminal I'm out of, and I looked at all 4 trucks, decided on the one that I would like, and I called my driver lead, which is Henry, which is he's a great guy, down there in Jurupa Valley, since I'm on the reefer division. Even though my home terminal is Lathrop, my driver lead and all my contacts I will be dealing with will be in Jurupa in Southern California. And I picked the 2023 Freightliner Cascadia at low miles. It was clean. Didn't look like it was beat up or abused. Went ahead and loaded up my belongings into it, and I went home. That was on a Wednesday. Thursday afternoon, I told them I'd be ready to roll that next Monday, and they had no issues with it. I came out, went up there on Monday, and it just so happened that the Zonar, which is their version of a Qualcomm, would do e-logs and all your messaging, get your loads on, wasn't working. So I spent half the day getting that fixed. And it came about noon, 1 o'clock. I told Henry I'd be willing to run by day 1. I'd been up all day. I drove up there from where I live, which is about 2.5 hour drive up. And so I if you give me something I didn't have to run all night, I would take something. Otherwise, I'd be happy to leave Tuesday morning. And he was really, really good with that. Swift has been really accommodating, really easy to work with. They got me a load Tuesday that I picked up, and I took it to Vegas. I dropped it in our Vegas yard because it didn't deliver till Thursday. Grabbed a load and delivered Wednesday morning in Vegas, another load. And I grabbed a load out of our Vegas terminal and ran it up and delivered in Salt Lake City on Thursday. Freight was kind of slow, so Henry did what he could, and he put me on the Walmart Dedicated out of Corinne. Which really, it was not a bad account. It was really a pretty good account if you live in Corinne, Utah, because you go out, you do 500 to 700 miles, you come back, and then you're off for a day, and then next day you go out and you do the same thing, and you just continue your week that way. For me, it was frustrating because I was just coming out of the house, low miles, and I ended up with, I think, 2,000 miles for that first week because of that. It's the way things worked out. It's trucking my first week. They're getting to know me. And like I said, it's the way the freight waves go. Sometimes you're in areas that are really hot. Sometimes they're really cold. We left there. We went on into Oregon. And then I went ahead and put a home time request in to come back to California. I had a dentist appointment to go to. And they were really accommodating. I came home, went to the dentist, had some teeth pulled, and even though I was only out 2 weeks, you're supposed to get one day off every 6 days. I was supposed to be out in 2 days, and I ended up being home for 6 days because of the pain. And Swift was really accommodating. They weren't forcing me to run out of the house, not feeling good, or on painkillers or anything like that. So I don't know what anyone's heard. I'm talking from 2 weeks worth of experience, and every week I'll put together a small video to post up so you guys can follow me along with Swift, and we can decide together if they've actually changed, or if they're the same company they used to be, how they treat their drivers, and what money's like over here. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.